Hey everybody, and welcome to the live show here, just the eve before New Year's Eve, saying goodbye to 2018 and hello to 2019. I hope everybody had a good holiday season, Christmas, whatever you were up to. I have a real funny story to tell you. So last Sunday, I'm sitting here in my office. I got the lights all set up. I got the camera set up. I got the computer set up. I got my images all set up in the background. I got the skis and the snowboard behind me. I'm all set to go. And for the life of me, I couldn't get YouTube to play along and do the live stream. I farted around with it. I actually went on for 5 minutes thinking that it was actually going out into the world, and it was not. And I'm like, why have I got no comments? Why are people not showing up? So anyway, it was frustrating, I got to tell you, last week to get it all set up. So anyway, I spent about an hour today figuring out. And you know what it was? My settings, for some reason, I didn't change anything, changed from the west coast of Canada to Newfoundland. So it thinks I'm 5 time zones different, and it wouldn't play. Anyway, so I have a couple of things I want to do before we get to the question and answer, and I think that you're going to want to know about them. Now, a lot of people who have watching the channel on a regular basis maybe saw the little contest I announced on the channel. You see behind me a Toyo Tires snowboard and a Toyo Tires set of skis, and show you some images of that. So here they are. They have their branding on them. They're made by Elan, and you have a board there, and you have the skis from Freestyle Canada. Excuse me, and nice looking skis. So how do you enter? You go to my website, motormouth.ca, click on the contact tab. Please fill this out. Your name, your address, your phone number. Not your address so much. I need your phone number though. And in the subject line, put either Toyo Tires skis or Toyo Tires board to tell me which one you want. So go to motormouth.ca, click on the contact tab, put in your information, okay? I need your phone number in there, and because I've been having to email everybody back asking for their phone number. So in the subject line, put Toyo Tires skis or Toyo Tires board, whichever one you want, because you know you're either a skier or a boarder. Most people don't do both. So please enter that contest. I'm going to run it until the end of January. Had good response so far, and it's evenly split. Skis are out in front first, boards catching up, so you got a good shot of winning these. All right, and also I want people to go over and follow at Instagram. It's motormouth_auto. And Facebook is something that's really kind of interesting. I've been posting, news stories about the auto industry, some silly videos, anything that comes up in my feed that I get, I kind of put on Facebook. And we're getting a nice little community of people that are commenting and getting involved. So if you're wanting to follow along and see what get posted and what other people comment, please go to Facebook and search up Motormouth, and you will get the information. So, all right, let's get into the questions and see what everybody is saying. The first one from Mark Dion says, "Hey Zach, does it even make sense to buy a new car, now? Since everybody is switching to electric, the depreciation must be off the charts in the coming years. Greetings from Switzerland." Nice. I'm going to be in Geneva for the motor show first week in March, so I'm looking forward to that. Okay, no, this is not, in my opinion, it's going to be the exact opposite, okay? Here's the thing, Mark. 99% of all vehicles sold in the world are still internal combustion engines. Electric is moving up in popularity. I'm not here to deny the industry is going to be moving towards electrification of some kind, whether it's hybrid, plug-in hybrid, electrification, hydrogen, whatever it is, we're moving in that direction. In my opinion, it's not going to be as fast as everybody believes. And trust me, there's still going to be a market for internal combustion engines in the used market. I am of the other opinion. I believe that, just like your smartphone or your computer, they become obsolete after a few years, and you have to upgrade and get your new phone or get a new computer or any electronics. Electronics are, they're not upgradable in a big way. So my worry is, what is a 7-year-old electric, 10-year-old electric car going to be worth in the used market? Maybe not that much, but I still think there is a market for internal combustion engines in the used market. Mark goes on to say, by the way, your second channel is missing a profile picture. You know what? You put that on early, and in the 5 minutes before we went to air, I actually changed the profile picture. My other channel, by the way, is called Watch This. I have a YouTube channel about watches. Oh, and I got in touch with a guy that lives near me that is a major watch, used watch broker, and he's going to actually give me some watches to review and wear and show on the channel. So I'm going to get some nice stuff to show. So if you're into wristwatches, go over and check it out. And at the end of the live chat, I will put the link in below. All right, next one comes from Charlottetown Spud from PEI, who's got a brand new load of potatoes. Hope you had a great Christmas, Zach. My question may not have an answer, but I'll ask anyway. Do you have any thoughts on when a used Type R might start to drop in price? Some 17s still go for $40,000. Well, you have classic economics at play here. So a Civic Type R, you have supply and demand. So there is more demand than there is supply. If Honda actually increases the supply, you could start to see prices fall. And if I was you, I would buy a new one. I wouldn't buy somebody's now going to be 2-year-old Civic Type R for close to what the actual original retail price is, and work with your dealer, order the car and get the exact color, everything you want. So it will happen though. Everything has a depreciation curve. There's very few cars that go up in value or hold their value long term. So you are obviously dialed in this because you seem to ask a question about this car or a few others every single week. So I would keep an eye on the classified ads and you'll start to see some movement. But you know what? Are you going to take a 2-year-old car for maybe a few thousand less than a brand new one? Get the new one. Order the new one if you're really into it. Hey Zach, happy holidays. Does Tesla cars come equipped with Apple CarPlay and Android Auto, or do they have their own entertainment system to fill their massive display? I hope somebody can answer that because Tesla doesn't supply test cars for us to drive. If I'm going to get one, I'm going to get one from somebody that I know, but I don't know. I really don't have the answer for that. It's something a quick Google search could definitely answer. Hey Zach, love your show and channel. I'm looking at a used 2014 BMW X5. This is the 35D. That is the inline 3-liter turbocharged 6-cylinder diesel. It's got 85,000 kilometers on it. What are your thoughts on it in terms of maintenance costs? What am I looking at? Well, here's the thing about that engine. A diesel engine, if properly maintained, can do hundreds and hundreds and hundreds of thousands of kilometers. That's been proven around the world. However, you are dealing with a brand that out of warranty can be very expensive to maintain. So this is a 14, yeah, so out of warranty now. You might be able to find one that's got a certified pre-owned, so an extended warranty for another 2 years. But you're looking at a vehicle that it might not be the actual engine itself. It could be all the other components attached to the car that will cost you money to fix. My feeling is, if you're going to buy this car, it would be worthwhile finding out what an extended warranty would be on the car. 85,000 kilometers is not a big number, okay? Especially for a diesel vehicle. So just go in with your eyes open, get the car inspected, get a Carfax on it. If you live in a province, if you're in Canada, where obviously with kilometers you're asking, probably in Canada, where you can do an accident search from the insurance company, do that and have it inspected, have it inspected, have it inspected. So yes, it can be a very good product, but it can also be expensive. So do your due diligence, and please, if you're keeping it long-term, a long-term warranty might not be a bad way to go. Mark's back. Hi, Zach. Does it even make sense to buy a car right now since everyone... Oh, you've asked that question already. All right, some of these people are making funny jokes here. Happy New Year. Happy New to you. Cheers. Hi, Zach. Do we know the price of the RAV4 hybrid yet? No. So just arriving in dealerships now. I haven't seen one on the road yet, but the all-new Toyota RAV4s are arriving at dealerships. The hybrids are going to be coming, they said, in the spring. So, you know, in the second quarter of 2019. And closer to that date is when they'll announce the official pricing. They have committed, though, to keeping the spread between the gas versions and the hybrid versions much smaller. So if you go and look at whatever, say, an XLE Toyota RAV4 gasoline is, excuse me, and then seeing what the spread is now in terms of the hybrid model, it's going to be less than that. So you can sort of maybe get an idea anyway. Excuse me. I had some peanut butter before we started. Probably wasn't a good idea. Okay. Hey, Zach, Merry Christmas and Happy New Year. Any idea when the new Mazda 3 arrive in Canada with all-wheel drive? It was a really bad idea eating peanut butter. Anyway, I don't know yet. I tell you what, I'll ask when I get to the Detroit Auto Show in a couple of weeks what the timeline is for that, but I don't know the answer. Next question, Zach, will there be a noticeable difference between the FRS and the Supra? Yes, a big difference. So what they're doing is it's a collaboration between Toyota and BMW. And the best news of all is that the engine is coming out of BMW. So it's the inline turbo 6-cylinder with 335 horsepower. Think the BMW 2 Series, the 240. That engine's used in the 440, the 340. That is a beautiful engine, one of the best on the market, and it is going to be a real monster. So BMW went away and made the Z4 or the Z4, and then Toyota made the Supra. But that is the heart, and it's a big difference from the FRS because, of course, you have a much smaller engine in there. This will be an inline turbo 6-cylinder, and it should be quite the car. So I am going with Toyota to Detroit for the auto show, and that's going to be the car that they're going to show. So I'm looking forward to seeing it. Peanut butter slowly clearing away here. Is the 19 Volvo XC90 Inscription a sound car to drive? Yeah, it's a great car. I encourage anybody, though, if you're going to go and drive the Volvo XC60, drive the XC40 because there's not a huge difference in terms of interior size, and I think the XC40 is just a great product. It doesn't have all the extra features that you can get on the XC60, but if you're shopping for one, look at them both. I think the XC40 will surprise you. And since we're speaking about that, I did my top 10 video that went out yesterday, and the XC40 is included in that. And just for some clarification on how I came up with my top 10, these were top 10 new cars that I drove, okay? So some people are saying, like, why wasn't this car in there? Why wasn't that car in there? Because they weren't new for 2018. So these are the top 10 new vehicles that I drove and the ones that I like the most. And somebody said, why wasn't the Toyota RAV4 in there? It was really tough to whittle down exactly what vehicles were going to go in. So when I went through all of the videos on my computer, everything I drove, and I made a short list, and then I pared it down, and I tried to pick a bunch of different vehicles from different spectrums. And the RAV4 could have easily been in there, but I chose something else instead, okay? Pierre Lambert, happy holidays. Happy holidays to you too. Hey, Zach, what do you think about the new BMW X540? Happy New Year. Wish you tons of success and content for us. Thank you very much. I've got an email in, 2 or 3 emails in now to BMW Canada. I've said to them, when is the X5 coming? I wasn't invited on the launch of the X5. They said it's going to be early in the new year. It'll be here in Vancouver where I live. So as soon as I get it, I will do a video on it. And a lot of people are asking also about the Mazda CX-5 with the turbocharged engine. I'm picking that car up on the 2nd of January. So in the next couple of weeks, you'll get the video on that. So just hang tight on these. Sometimes it takes a while to actually get the car, but I will get it, and I'll let you know what I think of it. All right. Josh Yeagerman says, hey, Zach, I spent the last week in Florida, nice, and realized that I see many more Lexus vehicles than you see in Canada. Why do you think they have much more market share compared to the competition? Well, in Canada, for those that are outside of Canada, we are kind of, the best way to describe it is exactly halfway between the US and Europe, okay? So the American market is the American market. The European market is quite different. We're kind of right in the middle. And when it comes to prestige and luxury brands, we lean more towards European cars. In the United States, you had a very strong market in places like Florida and California for brands like Cadillac and Lincoln. They were the traditional luxury brands for decade after decade after decade. Now, when Lexus came along, they filled the Japanese void for the traditional luxury buyer. So a lot of people that years ago maybe owned a Cadillac or a Lincoln, they switched to Lexus. And you see the same thing in California. In Canada, people who are luxury buyers were in the BMW, Mercedes, Audi camp anyway. Okay, so that's one of the big differences. Our tastes in Canada are sort of halfway between here and Europe. In the United States, traditional luxury buyers went to Lexus, and their market share is way higher in the US than it is in Canada. All right, hopefully that explains it. Hey, Zach from New Brunswick, what do you think of the Volvo subscription where you pay one price, everything included? We're doing a little bit of digging on this, and some of the subscription stuff, it just seems like it's expensive, like for what you're actually getting. And it just seems like it's a lease. Why not? I don't really think it's that great a deal. So do the numbers on it and think about, what you could lease a vehicle for and do all of this stuff for yourself. I don't think there's much in the way of savings there. So that's my initial thoughts on it. Hey, Zach, I'm better off fixing problems with my car, scratches and dents before or after I have the BMW dealership inspect it. If after, can I choose where these problems can get fixed? So I'm guessing this is an end of lease. So a lot of people complain that when you take a car back at the end of the lease, or they come and inspect it, they go around the car and they find scratches and dings, and there's a tolerance. They should send you something in the mail that shows you the size of what's allowed as normal wear and tear, but they will charge you for it. My advice is that you would probably be better off to go to a scratch and dent removal place and have it done. It isn't that expensive, to be honest with you, depending on how bad it is. Like you can get dings taken out of the whole vehicle from anywhere from $100 to $150. It's not that bad. And light scuffs and scratches can get repaired, because the people that come to fix the car after you drop it off are the same people that will come to your house and do it, and they won't charge you for it. And people say, well, it's exorbitant. Why are they charging me for this? Well, if you think about it, if you were going to sell a car you owned and didn't lease, you would want to put the best car forward, right? So you would get the stains taken out of the carpet. You would get scratches and dents and dings taken out of the car. You would get the curbed wheels repaired. And you would do that so when you go to sell it, you would get the best price. Well, the car company's got to do that, okay? So somebody has to bear the cost. So getting it all done beforehand will probably save you some money. Whether you can get their estimate and then get it fixed yourself, I don't know the intricacies of that. It is a very good question, though. Hey, Zach, your thoughts on the 2018 SQ5? I think the SQ5 is a wonderful product. I mean, the Audi Q5 and the SQ5 have been fantastic sellers for Audi. They make great products. Now, it's been out for 2 years now. It might be getting set for a refresh in the next year or so, but not imminent. And that would be including the new interior dash that you're seeing in other new Audi products. But no, it's a great product. If you go and drive one and you like it, there's nothing wrong with it at all. One that I think you should try, though, as an alternative, is the C43 from Mercedes-Benz, the GLE 43 AMG is I think the design and the packaging on that, they did a very nice job when it comes to styling. I think it looks good. And it's a great engine too, with similar output. Jay from Nova Scotia, hey Zach, really enjoy this channel format. Recently checked out your other channel, Watch This. I really enjoy that as well. Looking for a watch to add to my daily Tag Heuer. Very nice. And that's one thing I've come to find is that one of the reasons why I put that little video out saying, hey, if you want to go and check out my other YouTube channel, it's called Watch This. And I found that people who are into cars are also into wristwatches. Men don't really have jewelry we wear, you know. If you're lucky, you can have 1 or 2 nice wristwatches, and it's a mechanical thing and it's a thing of beauty. So that's why I like them. I've always loved them as a kid. I now have you know, a few nice watches. So if you're at all interested, when this live chat is over, I will put the link in below. Okay. So congratulations. Now, the next step for you, my friend, is to move from Tag into a slightly higher brand. So you want to go into a fully, I'm not sure if your Tag Heuer is automatic, but a fully automatic watch like a nice Tudor or something would be great. Dwayne Rose, is the Toyota Sienna soon to be restyled? I believe something is coming down the line. I don't know exactly. As I mentioned, I'm going as a guest of Toyota for the Detroit Auto Show, so I'll ask them when I'm there. Bruce says, I want to buy a new vehicle in the next 2 to 3 years, and I typically hang on to my cars for 8 to 10 years. I'm starting to think that if I don't buy some sort of e-assist, resale might be tough. No, I don't think so. Listen, we are not going from 99% of all vehicles sold being gasoline engines now to 0 in the next 8 to 10 years. It's just not going to happen. So yes, in the next 8 to 10 years, we might move from 1% from electric to maybe 3 to 5%. That still means that 95% of all vehicles sold will be gasoline. And here's the thing. The car companies' own worst enemies are themselves when it comes to selling electric vehicles. You know why? Because the new gasoline cars are so good and so efficient. We have moved wholesale from compact cars to compact utility vehicles without giving up anything in terms of fuel economy. So what you used to have to fill up your Civic for, you can now do that at a CRV. So and this isn't going to end. There is still more efficiency to be gained out of the good old internal combustion engine. There's still advances can be made with transmissions. There's still advances that are going to be made with mild hybrids like 48-volt systems that are going to make cars even more efficient. There's still lightweight packaging that can be done to develop new chassis and platforms that make the cars more efficient yet again. So yeah, I think that when people are shopping for a family vehicle, they sit around the kitchen table, the dining room table, having a coffee at Starbucks, I don't know where, but it comes down to what is the most vehicle our family can afford per month. And right now, it's an internal combustion, small compact utility vehicle. That's what people are buying. The numbers are enormous for that category. Is it going to switch to electric versions of those? I don't think so. Look at the vehicles that are being offered in the marketplace. The new Kona from Hyundai came out. They announced the pricing in Canada. It starts at $45,000 and the premium version is $52,000. This is basically a subcompact front-wheel drive car that's made to look like a utility, but it isn't. It's not offered with an all-wheel drive. It's not the size of vehicle people are demanding, and it certainly doesn't have the capacity. So yeah, we're not there yet. There will be people that buy them and try them, and that's great. But for the average person buying a car, they're still going to shop with what's the best bang for their buck, and right now it is a gasoline or a hybrid vehicle. So if you want to hedge your bets, get a hybrid. Like a Toyota RAV4 hybrid is exactly what people might want as a used vehicle in the future. Bulletproof, well-made, great resale value. Okay, hopefully that helps. Do you think that the A-Class hatch will be successful in Canada? Yeah, I think it will be. I think that the A-Class is a fun-looking car. They didn't have much success with the B-Class. The B-Class, for those that are unaware, is the hatchback Mercedes-Benz that wasn't sold initially. I'm not sure if it ever was eventually sold in the United States. But the styling was a miss for that car. It was a good product. I really enjoyed it and a lot of fun to drive and nice all-wheel drive system. But yeah, A-Class is definitely going to be a vehicle that has more success just based on styling and the interior with that real fun dash. And the price, that's the main thing. What is Audi thinking with the fake exhaust? Makes me not even consider some of their models, especially the SQ5. Bad taste, do you agree? A lot of people are hung up on this, and I don't really care, to be honest with you. I mean, it doesn't bother me one way or the other. A lot of people made a big deal about Acura's cars with having faux trim at the bottom of the lower valance to make it look like exhaust, but the exhaust wasn't there. So Acura has actually, with their A-Spec and the MDX, put proper large exhaust tips on there. It doesn't bother me. I mean, some people, it really gets them going. It doesn't really bother me. I could totally live with it. It doesn't bother me at all. But to each their own. If that's your case, then don't buy an Audi. There's lots of other vehicles. Taylor says, happy holidays. Do you think the extra money for an SQ5 versus a Technic Q5 is worth it? Well, you're going from 252 horsepower, roughly 250 horsepower to 365 or 356? I might have those numbers inverted. But anyway, it's a big jump in power. And when you drive them, yeah, you will notice it is a more substantial vehicle to drive just based on the engine. Now, the base Q5 I find is fine. It depends on what you're using it for, what kind of driving you're used to. If you're used to having a performance-oriented vehicle now, then yeah, the Q5 will feel anemic. But if you're already driving a vehicle that has just a standard 2-liter 4-cylinder turbocharged engine, then the regular Q5 will be fine. My advice is go out and drive them both and see which one you can live with. But, you know, I'm a power guy. I'd go for the SQ5 personally. Kona EV starts at 44.3 Canadian. Yikes. Can't say I'm surprised. That's the exact price I was expecting. That's a lot of cash for a subcompact SUV. I'm not seeing the value in EV at these prices. Well, there you go. That's exactly what I just said. Harm Singh says, hey, Zach, how come the Toyota RAV4 missed your top 10? It was a tough decision to come up with this list, okay? I had to pare it down and pare it down. I really wanted to get the Mitsubishi Outlander PHEV in there. I think that considering what that vehicle's been able to accomplish, it's a major milestone car for the marketplace. A lot of people will disagree with me, but I've driven it and I think it does exactly what people are asking if they're wanting an electrified vehicle nowadays. It is the right size. It is all-wheel drive. It is electrified. It is all of that. And it's at a price that is expensive, but it's no, you know, it's basically the same price as that Kona you're talking about. Yes, it could easily be in there, but it's I'm just trying to look at some of the vehicles I had in there that I would take out. You know, I could have left out the Subaru Ascent, but I was impressed. I mean, they did a really good job with the Subaru. I'm just looking at all the pictures here. I could have left out, you know, the Wrangler from Jeep, but I mean, credit where credit's due. The Wrangler from Jeep is such a big improvement over the old one. The Toyota RAV4 is kind of what you expect from Toyota. It's a better RAV4, it's a newer RAV4, but it wasn't a wow factor. It's just going to deliver every day, all day. And it could be given that honor of being in the top 10 for that, but I decided not to put it in. Josh writes back and says, second and last question of the night. Thoughts for my old aunt, big golfer, looking to save money from her BMW 320i. She wants a shorter car. I suggested Volkswagen Alltrack, XC40 or Q3. Thoughts? Thanks again. So I don't think these are that much shorter than a 320. It's not a big car. I would suggest Crosstrek. Crosstrek might be a fun car, but these are premium brands. Yeah, I think the Q3 would be a good one when it comes in the spring. The Alltrack is fine. These are all good choices. Yeah, I think that a Tiguan might not be a bad idea, but a Tiguan's got a bit longer. I think you know what? She's got to get out and drive them all and see which one she likes. I know one. The BMW X1 would be a nice size because it's BMW X1. That would be my choice if you want something that's not that big. Do you think that the trend in SUVs is a way that manufacturers are using to bypass the continually changing CAFE emission standards? No. The CAFE umbrella now captures everything. It used to be just passenger cars. It excluded lots of different categories. No, that's not the case. So the corporate average fuel economy now is the corporate average fuel economy. So the question is, so CAFE numbers are determined the amount of fuel economy per vehicle that they sell. What you are getting with, though, is fiddling around the edges, are these electrified cars that are coming into the marketplace. They get massive credits for CAFE for having cars that don't sell. So a brand can put electric vehicles out on the marketplace, and if they don't sell, they still get a credit for them. And that helps bring their corporate average fuel economy way down. So that is the case. But for regular SUVs, no. The market is telling the car companies what to make. Look at General Motors. They just closed, was it 3 or 4 plants around North America? Because they had a whole bunch of cars that nobody was buying. The example I stated when it was announced is that the Oshawa assembly for General Motors here in Canada, their peak output in 2003 was almost 1 million cars out of one facility. 1 million cars. That's a huge amount out of one manufacturing area. Last year, or the end of this year, they'll make just over 100,000 cars. cars, and they do assemble a few trucks there, but that's the way the market's going. The market is dictating what people buy. Gary Young says, Cayenne e-hybrid is excellent. I would agree with you on that. Anything Cayenne is good. Hey, Zach, can you please recommend a car for an enthusiast, for an efficient heat pump? Something suitable for -30. I'm not sure exactly what you mean by that, what an efficient heat pump is in terms of a car. Something that heats up quickly? Maybe that's your question. XT4 or Q3, I need to make a decision, please. Well, if, you know, I wouldn't be in a rush. If you're really in a rush, that's too bad, because the new Q3 isn't here yet. The existing Q3, that's a no-brainer. Go get the Cadillac. The existing Q3 is an old platform, old engine, old everything. The new Q3 that's coming is the newest platform, newest engine, new interior. So if you're in a rush, get the XT4. If you can wait until the spring/summer, the new Q3 is coming, and then you need to go and drive them both and see which one you like. I actually really like the XT4. I thought they did a great job with that. I'm considering getting an all-new CX-5. We'll test drive here in Michigan soon. I've always owned Toyota products, so I want your opinion on Mazda reliability. The Imperial data that comes in from all of the different quality scores is that they do not score as highly in terms of initial quality and dependability as Toyota. Toyota is kind of top of the mountain, right? So you've got Toyota, Lexus, Porsche, all clustered up at the top. Sometimes you get other brands that do very well as well, but you know, Mazda isn't at that same level as Toyota. So that's just the data that comes in from different quality scores. However, it is near premium on the inside. The interior of their cars is just so nicely done, and now they've got that you know, turbocharged 4-cylinder in the CX-5. And if you just joining me now, I will get it here this week, and I'll have a video. I'm going to have my wife help me with it. So that's a product that I think is definitely worthy of your time. If I was shopping for a compact utility today, I would say the RAV4, but I haven't driven the CX-5 with the new turbocharged engine. So that's when I get this car and I drive it. I'm thinking my attitude might change, but stay tuned. If you're not in a rush, please stay with me, and we'll get you that information when it becomes available, when I get a chance to drive it. Okay, I just want to let you guys know, since we're kind of halfway through here, that the Toyo Tires Ski and Snowboard Contest is running until the end of the month. So you can win either an Elan snowboard or skis. They have, of course, Toyo Tires branding on there, and thanks to Toyo Tires Canada for giving these away. So go to my website, motormouth.ca. Click on the Get in Touch contact tab. Fill out your information. I need your phone number. I need your phone number. And in the subject, you're going to put Toyo Tires board or Toyo Tires skis to let me know which one you want, okay? You're either a skier or you're a boarder. So go to motormouth.ca, put in your information. Please include your phone number and tell me if you want the Toyo Tire board or the Toyo Tire skis. And those are going to be given away, okay? Back to the questions. All right. Chris says, hey guys, I just bought a 2013 Taurus SHO. What would you recommend as my first modification? I live in Louisiana, so no snow and freezing isn't really a concern here. Number one thing that anybody can do to any vehicle is better tires and wheels. So I'm sure with the SHO wheels are probably, we could find out about this, I'm not sure exactly the weight of them, but number one thing you can do for any car is tires, wheels, and suspension. But that's a cool car. All right. My thing's jumping around here again. Hey, Zach, which used vehicle would you choose between an Acura MDX or Lexus RX 350 from 2007 to 2013? Well, it comes down to what you need. Do you need a 5-passenger utility or a 7-passenger utility? If you need a 7-passenger utility, you answered your own question. It's Acura MDX. They're both fine products. I think the Lexus in that era was a bit noisy, in my opinion. I didn't love the interior of the Lexus, but you know what? It is going to deliver all day long. The Acura, in my opinion, in that generation, had a better interior. I would give a tip of the hand to the super handling all-wheel drive system in the MDX, and of course you get that third row if you need it. So you kind of have to look in your mirror and figure out what you need for your family. Hey Zach, what's your opinion on the new Kia Forte with the new version of the CVT, or what they call intelligent variable transmission? It's excellent. Please, after this is done, go back to the channel and watch the review. Just type in Forte, the video will come up. Please do yourself a favor and watch it, because what I said in that video, I stand behind. Guaranteed, you put 100 people in that car, 95 to 99% of them would not know that there is a CVT at play. They have a chain-driven CVT instead of a belt-driven, and it makes a marked difference. So please, if you're in the market for that car, try it for yourself. You'll be surprised. The other one, if you're not in a rush, is the new Toyota Corolla is coming, and they already have this with the Corolla hatchback. They have their new CVT that actually has a real mechanical first gear. So that initial launch to get out of the pocket is a real cogged first gear. And then once you get up to speed, it slides out of the way, and then you get into the conventional CVT. So that is when you should drive. If you're wanting the sedan, wait for the sedan to coming in 2019. But if you want to try it, you could try the Corolla hatch with that transmission and engine to see which one you like. How does SUV CUV is better than a car in winter conditions? The only advantage there's only two advantages you have. One is available all-wheel drive, of course, so being able to put the power down to all four wheels, and the other one is clearance for going over deeper snow. And those are the only things. You get somebody that is a competent driver in a front-wheel drive car with good winter tires, and I mean good winter tires, they will be able to get you pretty much anywhere. So it doesn't really make that big a difference. Ground clearance is a big one. Hey Zach, looking out for small pickup truck, Ford Ranger or Tacoma, both on top trim for 2019. Would you give a chance to the EcoBoost 2.3? I would say Tacoma only because of resale value. Like killer resale value. You buy one of those things, you drive it for the time you own it, you sell it, you're going to get so much of that money back. That's the number one reason I say Tacoma. The new Ranger, I wasn't able to go to the Ranger event. It would happen at the beginning of December. That's when I went to Abu Dhabi. But I will get a chance to drive it. But if just purely on resale, it goes to Tacoma. Amir says, are M-Series cars the same engine modifications, or as just getting the M package on a BMW car? No, they're different. Part of the problem we have with all of these premium brands is they've basically hoored out their high performance lines. So AMG in Mercedes used to be an exclusive car that was only available to the highest performance. Now they stick AMG on everything. BMW, an M car used to be a hand-built car in a special sort of area, and then were delivered to clients. And these were very special. Now they stick M on everything. So it is an issue. It is not the same, okay? An M car is different than a car that's got an M package, okay? It's not the same. And you notice when you see the price, there's a big difference. Matt says, come on, Zach, I'd take the new twin turbo over a dedicated high tolerance, high maintenance BMW engine. BMW M Division could have made the chassis and suspension tuning and let Toyota make the engine. I disagree with you. I say, Matt, we're talking about the new Supra with the inline 3-liter 6-cylinder. I got to tell you, Matt, you go and drive a BMW with that engine and then come back and talk to me. That is a fantastic engine, period. One of the best engines I've driven in the last, one of the best engines ever, an inline BMW 6-cylinder. I totally disagree with you on that. Hey Zach, my lease is up on an X1 2016, good car, but the driver's seat was uncomfortable. What do you recommend between the Tiguan, R-Line, Q3, XC40? Comfort is important, and gas consumption style also. I would say that you need to drive all three. I would suggest that the Volvo is probably going to be the most comfortable because Volvo just does some great seats. The new Q3 is fine. Here's the thing is, the Q3 and the Tiguan are based on the same platform. The difference is the Tiguan uses the long wheelbase version and the new Q3 is based on the European shorter version, okay? So you get some similarities in terms of, the underpinnings, but they go out and execute them quite differently. I think you're barking up the right tree here. I think that you should start with the XC40 and see how you like it. I think it's a fun-looking vehicle, and I love the seats. But if you're not in a rush, the new Q3 isn't going to be here until late spring, early summer. So if you're not in a rush, you should wait for that. Elizabeth Long has chimed in. Hi, Elizabeth. Nice to see you. I'm glad you're enjoying the live show. Roger James. Hey, Zach, I heard that there will be a new Cadillac XT6 as a 3-row to be introduced soon. Do you know about this? And will you be checking it out in a review? Yes. Here's what's going on. Cadillac, as you probably heard from the news, is getting rid of a lot of sedans, okay? They were too heavy in sedans, and they're going to consolidate down to just a few sedans, okay? They're getting rid of the CT6, which is breaks my heart because it's a beautiful car. It didn't sell. I can understand the business case for that. But their cars are going to be pared way back, and they're going to ramp way up on the SUVs. And they have committed to introducing a new model every 6 months. So I was at the XT4 launch in Seattle here in September, and they said, Detroit, there's going to be more announcements. So we're just 2 weeks away, and that could be the vehicle they announce, and I think it will be. So if you go now from the Cadillac line, you have XT4, which is subcompact utility, XT5, compact utility, and then all the way up to Escalade. So there's a massive spot in the middle on the sort of Acadia Traverse size in the General Motors family to make a Cadillac out of that. And I think that's what is coming. A lot of people saying Happy New Year, same to you. Yeah, I can't believe tomorrow is the last day of 2019. What are the big plans for New Year's Eve? We're having people over here, so that's going to be fun. And then I don't have to drive anywhere. Hey, Zach, what do you think I should buy as my first car? I'm looking for a front-wheel drive car that must be fun. I think that, I don't know what your budget is, but I'm not sure if you're looking at new or used. If you're looking at used, I would just go with a Honda Civic. If you drive manual, I would get an SI. If you're looking at new, I would look at the Volkswagen Golf. I would look at the Civic. And I would also look at the Mazda 3 when it arrives. And it isn't here yet, but those are the ones if you're looking for fun to drive. Another one you should try is the new Toyota Corolla hatchback. Paul says, looking for options for a car to get in a few years since what is new now will be used when I'm ready to buy. I'm looking at a Hyundai. Yeah, so that's a good thing, is that you can see all the new models that are out now. You can follow them to see, if there's been any issues with them. And then when you're ready to buy in a couple of years, you pick up a 2 or 3 year old version of what's new today. So that's a good way to do it. Hey, Zach, Happy New Year's Eve. Is there a big difference between a 9-speed and 10-speed in the Honda Odyssey? Yes. The 9-speed is made by ZF, and there's pages upon pages upon pages of complaints from all manufacturers that have used this 9-speed box. FCA has had complaints used in vehicles like Cherokee. You see similar complaints in Acura and Honda. Other brands use it like Land Rover, Jaguar. So yes, the 10-speed is an in-house unit made by Honda. That's what they told me. And the ZF is the 9-speed. And having driven the 10-speed in the Honda and having just had a chance to drive it in the RDX and the Accord with the 2-liter turbo, I think that is a better transmission. So yes. Mike, hey Zach, big fan. As a longtime 911 guy, what is your take on the 992? It has seemed to be a split opinion. Not sure I'm a fan of all the shiny fingerprint magnet surfaces. Well, you're talking about the interior, and I'm kind of with you on that. Porsche, as I love the brand. I think that they do fantastic stuff. but I'm kind of with you on the glass panels in the center with, you know, lots of smudges and fingerprints. I'm going to be driving the car in about a month. They're going to have the event in Spain, so I'm going to be on the launch, so I'll be there to drive it, and I'm stoked. I think on the outside, oh my God, this thing is gorgeous. I think they did absolutely nailed it. When I get there, I'm going to speak to the designers and engineers, because to me, in my layman's eye, it's the proportions of the wheels to the fenders. It looks more tidy. The packaging just looks more cohesive on the outside, but I agree with you on the inside. But could I live with it because it's the new 911? Oh yeah. But wait for the video. It's coming in about a month. The 23rd, I think, of January is when I go to Europe. Rex, hello Zach. Why do you think cars are sold with increasingly larger wheels, even though they're much heavier, much easier to damage, increases fuel economy, and makes the ride noisy and harsh? Because they look good. What sells? Come on, what sells? People like what looks good, you know. And what's happened is car brands have brought out vehicles with bigger wheels, and those have sold. So you just see for yourself, the vehicles that look the best are the ones that have the big wheels, and the buyers are the ones that decide. You know, you can buy cars with smaller wheels, but often people will opt for the sport package to get the bigger wheels and tires. I like big wheels and tires. I think, you know, I don't totally agree with you because tire technology has improved so much. Oh, by the way, shout out to Car Cost Canada, sponsor of the channel. If you're watching the videos, you've seen the little bumper ad at the beginning and the end. If you're looking for a new car, do yourself a favor and find out what the dealer paid for the car. That's why it's called Car Cost. Get the cost of the car. Find out what the dealer paid. This is very powerful information if you're going to be shopping for a car. And then on top of that, you're going to find out what rebates are in place from the manufacturer. Say right now they've got a discount on RAV4s for the old one. You'll find that out. Any discounted interest rates, any secret rebates. This is one thing a lot of people don't realize. Often there's secret rebates that the manufacturer has for the dealers that they don't let you know. When you come in, the dealer could give you the deal or they could just pocket the money. Then you get specials like, are you a first-time buyer, a student, you're a senior, or you're a veteran, all of these different things. So if you're looking for any new car, the first search is free, but it's really worth your while because you can save some real money. And if you want them to put you in contact with a preferred dealer, they will do that for you. So check it out when you get a chance. Hello from the NIMO. Hello back. For those that aren't aware, there's a huge windstorm here about 10 days ago on the west coast of Canada that put bunch of power out, and some people still don't have their power back. So I'm glad you're doing well there. Tom says, hey Zach, been loving you since I was a kid and watching driving television in 2001. Yeah, that's when the show started. With decades of car knowledge, where do you think personal automotive transportation will be in 20 years, 50 years? Well, I think unfortunately, car companies are going to basically rue the day they ever came up with the idea of having everything fully autonomous. I mean, I mention this when I meet these executives. I say, why are you guys rushing for fully autonomous cars? You have been selling the dream of freedom. Every car ad has a guy driving down on a mountain road with a stream and no other traffic and enjoying his beautiful car. I said, that's what you've been selling. You've been selling more sex appeal, more power, better handling. You've been selling that for 100 years. Even Tesla, when they're fully electric, they're selling speed and acceleration and prestige and badge appeal. In 20 years, well, we're going to definitely have many more electrified cars on the road. That is for sure. Cars are going to be much safer. So even though we might not be fully autonomous, the car, even when you're not paying attention, will be paying attention for you. Cars are going to be much more efficient if there's still internal combustion engines for things like trucks and delivery vehicles and those sorts of things. Yeah, 20 years from now, it's going to be many more electric cars, much more autonomous information in the car, but I don't think in 20 years we're going to have like everybody driving autonomous vehicles, because you're going to have to integrate with the vehicles that are on the road today. For example, what do you think the average, this is for the Canadian market because that's where I live, what do you think the average age of a car is in Canada? Ready? Think about it. What do you think it is? Yell it at the screen. What do you think it is? It's over 10 years. okay? So even the cars that are sold today that have very mild autonomous systems will be the cars that'll be on the road in numbers 10 years from now. So yeah, mixing the two together is not going to be pretty, but we'll have to wait and see. What are your thoughts on the 2019 Honda CR-V EXL? I think there's nothing wrong with the Honda CR-V. It's a great product. It sells incredibly well. In some months, CR-V outsold RAV4 in Canada here in this market, and that has been a real battle. Any news on diesel for the Armada, Ford Expedition, return to diesels, etc.? Well, it's interesting because we're getting diesels in mainline vehicles. Like, for example, you've got that beautiful 3-liter diesel in the new F-150. And by the way, Mike just put a video up. That's the same engine they use in Land Rover, Range Rover products. And that is a great engine. I could easily see that slipping in to an Expedition for sure. And that would be the one that I would choose. Now, they've got to get their head around the premium they're charging for this engine. But the engine has been certified for sale. It is, a cleaner running diesel than have been in the past. So I would love to see that. I just don't think, unfortunately, there's much of an appetite in the United States. In Canada, for those who've been watching long enough through this session, we're kind of halfway between the United States and Europe. So we typically bought more diesel vehicles than they did in the United States because Canada has higher taxes and higher fuel prices, and we have that connection more to Europe. We bought more diesel cars. Diesels were selling incredibly well by Mercedes-Benz, Volkswagen, Audi, and others, and now they're all disappearing, and I don't think there's going to be much of an appetite to bring it back, to be honest with you. It's just a shame. Looking for options on a car to get a few years since what's new. Okay, I think you already asked that. Hey, Zach, do you think Honda hybrid technology is reliable enough to buy finance? Yes, I think it is. I wouldn't worry about that. Hey, Zach, looking for a Porsche 911 certified used all-wheel drive around 50,000. I think I would prioritize comfort over speed. Well, then why are you betting a 911? Which one would you recommend? Okay, well, if you're just putting comfort over speed, then you just want to get a 911 C2. Okay, that's the 2-wheel drive, not an S, not the more powerful one. So that is what you're looking at. If you can, I'm not sure, I haven't checked the 911 prices lately. If you can get a 911, the 997.2, which started in 2009. So if you can get a Carrera 2, not a C2S, just a Carrera 2, with that direct injection engine that was introduced in 2009, that would be the sweet spot. And yeah, it is a fun car. Now, you're going to get a better deal if you can find a manual, because a lot of people want the dual clutch, the PDK, which was the first year, by the way, for that is the 09. If you drive manual, that would be the one I would get. So kind of a base model, stripped down 2009 C2. Great car. A lot of fun to drive. Excuse me. What are your thoughts on the Rivian? I'm trying to remember how you say it. Rivian. I think I put $1,000 deposit on one last week, impressed with bang and offering. What do you say? Thanks, Joe from Detroit. I think that this is a car company that they say they have plenty of capital. They have 3 or 4 centers around the world that are working on this fully electric platform to be used for SUVs and pickup trucks. The pictures I saw from the LA show, it looked beautiful, and I think they did a great job. Yeah, I mean, why not? I think that it looks like a much better put together vehicle than Tesla, that's for sure, especially the inside. The inside looked very nice. It sounds like you're going for it. By the way, it's based in Detroit. I just bought an 018 Kia Optima LX base 2445 all in. They threw in a bunch of accessories, winter tires mounted on steel wheels, and alloys with summer tires. Do you think that's a good deal? Yeah, I think it's a pretty good deal. That's right around the base model. You kind of paid what the MSRP is there, but if they threw in all of those extras, yeah, you definitely got some value there, and you got the extra wheels and tires, which you would guess would be around $1,000. So I think you did okay. My father-in-law just purchased a 2018 S40. Is it a good car? Obviously, you're getting in touch with me from outside of the North American market where that car isn't sold. So sorry, I don't have much information for you on that. Hey, Zach, looking for options for what I would buy in a few years. Paul, you've asked this question 4 times, dude. Hopefully I've answered it the first time. Thoughts on Accent 5-door, Fit or Yaris? For me, it's a no-brainer. I think the Fit is one of the best little cars that's out on the road. Now, if the thing is, the Fit is more expensive, but it also has great resale value, and you get so much room on the inside. It's a great little product. One thing I would check, because the last time I was at the local Honda dealer here, I was talking to one of the sales guys. I don't think the Fit had Android Auto and Apple CarPlay, but for 2019 they might have updated it. So check with the dealer about that. But when it just comes to just basic usability, space, the Fit is the clear winner in my opinion. Now, if price is the factor, then after that, I think the Accent is a fantastic value. But then on the other hand, the Yaris is a product that's going to deliver years and years and years, if not decades, of reliable transportation. So my advice is Fit. Dr. JBN, 911 Carrera S or AMG C63S? You should have both, my friend, because they're very different cars. For me, it would be the 911 all day long. But I can understand the appeal of the turbo V8 and the C63, which is just a beautiful car. And the more you drive that car hard, the more you appreciate it. It's one of those cars that gets under your skin. Especially I had the Coupe last year. Was it last year or a year and a half ago? I just loved it. I just thought it was fantastic. It still is a Mercedes-Benz though. It feels quite soft in everyday situations. I would say 911S, but Dr. JBN, you should have one of each. Are you going to drive the new Lexus UX? Yes, I will get my hands on one. Okay, it's jumping around on me again. Joe Egan says, oh, he's already asked the question. Hey Zach, if you're buying a sport SUV, which one would you pick between Cayenne, X5, Q80, Levante, and the Stelvio? I would say, for me, if you're a regular on this channel, you know I love Cayenne. I think the Cayenne is just, when it comes to build quality, resale value, overall usability, it's the right size, and all of those sorts of things. I think that. I think, by the way, you meant to say the Q8, the Audi Q8. The Cayenne and the Q8 have a lot of similarities. The engine is the same, the base engine, but for me, I think the Cayenne is the one to get of those. If you're going just for straight handling, Stelvio's the one to get. It's just a fantastic handling car. 2019 Mustang GT PP1 or PP2, which one would you get? I don't know. I have a valve spring recall on my 13 Subaru XV, and I'm sort of glad because I had valve cover leaks on the driver's side. I thought by now they would have been fixed. What are your thoughts? Well, I'll work with the dealer and get it done. Like you said, it's a bit of a gift if they're going to pull it apart and put it back together. Valve, with a horizontally opposed engine, it's different than just a regular 4-cylinder engine, but yeah. Subaru has been kind of known for issues with some things like head gaskets in the past, so yeah, I'm glad it's getting fixed. I currently have a BMW M2. Well, aren't you lucky? And my wife is expecting a baby. Which car would you recommend to replace the M2? The GLC 63S or an Audi RS5 Sportback or anything else? Well, for a baby, and not a lot of space, right? In the RS5. So I would say the GLC 63S. That's a great product. It really is. I think that is a beautiful, beautiful utility. And I think that with that engine, that's the car. And you're not going to see another one. There's nothing wrong with the RS5. I think that engine is fantastic. It's the same engine they use in the Cayenne S. But that is not going to be an alternative in size for a family with strollers and car seats. It just isn't. We had an Audi A7, and that was big enough that it worked, but our kids were out of car seats. So no, I think the GLC is the way to go. Wishing you the best from Mexico. Well, Happy New Year to you. Scott says, hey, Zach, what's with the Air Canada model? Are you a pilot? No, I go on too many trips and I fly too much. So when you fly over 1,000,000 miles, this is what they give you. So I'm in the Million Mile Club. I'm not in the Mile High Club, but I'm in the Million Mile Club. So that's what you get when you hit 1,000,000 miles. So there you go. We're kind of up against the clock here, friends. I really, truly wish everybody a happy, happy 2019. I thank you so much for being part of these live shows. I'm going to be starting up something new in the new year. For those of you who are aware of Patreon, I'm going to be doing something for Patreon that is different than this. It's going to be a way for people to get access to me one-on-one for car buying information. So if you're wanting more of a tailored response than just what I'm doing here, it's going to be something where you can get in touch with me. We can talk on the phone. I can walk you through what you might be able to buy. I'm going to be working with car costs to see what kind of deals there are out there. So it's going to be kind of a bit of a car buying assistant. That's what my job is going to be. Now there is going to be a fee attached to that, which is where Patreon comes in. But I think for some people that don't really know where to look for answers, I'm hoping that I'm here to answer those questions for you with lots of experience test driving all of these cars over the years and some just sort of good common sense sort of approach to things. So keep an eye out for that. I'm not in a rush to start it. I want to do it right. I want to get in touch with my friends at Car Cost Canada to not only help people get the right car, but get the best deal for their car as well. And then that's going to be something I'm going to set up. It's going to be separate. It's going to be in Patreon, where you come in and you pay a fee and you get that one-on-one access. I'll still be doing this. I'll still be giving my quick answers here on the live chat, but that's something that's going to be coming in the near future. So tell me what you think of that. Do you think that's a good idea? Is it something you would be willing to find out more about? Let me know. That's all the time we have for this week. Once again, everybody, please have a very safe and happy new year, and I'll see you back here in 2019. Bye now.